we should have a SEP university and a SEP polytechnic. If we don't have a Chinese core, we'll be reliant on imported Chinese talent. With the rise of China and the world becoming more multipolar, the world will become less Anglo. So our future will be less Anglo, that's for sure. And we should anticipate that future, a future in which English will find its proportionate importance, but Chinese will become much more important for our future. So we must be prepared for that future.
But you think that it's possible to do that at all?
To some extent, it's already happening because you find middle-class families very worried that their children are not speaking Chinese well, being very anxious about getting them the right schools and sending them for enrichment, sending them to China. All of us face the same reality that China's rise will impact all our lives and our children more than ours. And if we want to prepare them for their future, then they should have more Chineseness in them. The question is, what then is being Singaporean? So to me, being Singaporean is a bit of a meta-identity. In other words, you are Singaporean, you are Chinese, you are Singaporean, you are Malay, you are Singaporean, you are Muslim, you are Singaporean, you are Christian. And being Singaporean doesn't require you to choose between being Muslim and being Singaporean, between being Chinese and being Singaporean. So Singapore must be big-hearted, broad-minded. It's a meta-identity. And in that meta-identity, we make a living because it then enables us to arbitrage opportunities across different cultural domains, which will be a major subject of my second book.
Yes, you also mentioned that now we do not have a substantial Chinese elite. So will this job of creating a substantial enough, a core, Chinese core, how optimistic will you be in this endeavor?
To me, it's a necessity. If we don't have a Chinese core, we'll be reliant on imported Chinese talent. But there's a danger in being too reliant on imported Chinese talent because they never grew up here. They don't have the same early programming, the same intimate understanding of a society. If you have a Singapore core, then you can accrete them around the Singapore core. And it'll be all right. But if you don't have a Singapore core, there's nothing to accrete them around. And they may take our society in the wrong direction. So Nanta, Chinese education, our Chinese culture, they are a very important part of our root system. But so too the Indian roots and the Malay roots. So all root systems should be treasured and nourished. Then we can take change. Because the world is entering a period of great fragmentation. So it's almost a question of war and peace. But China's great strength is its civilizational continuity. Yes, there's change, but there's one huge civilizational tradition. And the more you're aware of it, the more you can handle the change. But if you have shallow roots, when the changes come and the winds blow, you topple quickly. So it's crucial for Singapore to have deep roots. Yeah.
You do not think it's a bit too late now?
No.
You think there's still time to do it?
No, one of my sons, when did his undergraduate education in Petra, I could never have imagined it. And I didn't force him. His siblings persuaded him. And when he decided to go, I was very worried for him. And on the day he graduated, I posted on my Facebook, greatly relieved that he's graduated. He's number 3. So my number one and number two had both spent 6 months on exchanges in Petra. No, my daughter did a 6 months exchange from Wharton. My eldest son spent 6 months studying Chinese in Petra. So they liked the environment. So they said, why not give it a try? But what I'm saying is, I couldn't have imagined this in the past. So why has it happened? To me, to my family, it's because the tide is turning. And this tide affects not only me and my family, it affects all of us. That's why I'm not pessimistic. I also have a deep interest in other cultures. That's why I have many chapters on India. I was involved with Nalanda University for 10 years. There's a lot of time I spent in India and on India. Then in my second book I talk about my years of involvement in the Vatican, my associations with Europe, my views about Europe, about its de-Christianization. I talk about Russia, and I talk about the US. So, yeah, I have many interests. It brought me closer in contact with the reality in China. In Hong Kong, say at dinner, at a social gathering, invariably people talk about China, much more than in Singapore. I was, during the demonstrations when there were two camps, the blues and the yellows.
Yes.
In Hong Kong society, people were split. In my company, Carry Logistics, we banned discussion about politics because people get hot under the collar very quickly and it affected human relations. But whenever I came back to Singapore, I noticed Singaporeans were all blue. There are very few yellows in Singapore because they felt that, look, all this somehow did not feel right. Like on Taiwan question, most Singaporeans will not agree with Taiwan independence. Well, my mother's views I know for sure, but then she was from China. But even Singapore Chinese whose parents were not born in China, on Taiwan, they all have strong views. So politically, curiously, Singaporeans are closer to mainland than Hong Kong. I think we should teach the ASEAN anthem to all Singaporeans. Doesn't matter if other countries don't do it. We do it. Others will eventually do it. So you educate our young that this is important. We've made a start. Today, if you go to any Singapore embassy or Malaysian embassy, anywhere in the world, there's an ASEAN flag next to the national flag. We copied this from the European Union. But we should not end there. We should do much more to make ASEAN an integral part of our identity, because ASEAN is very important for our future. Sooner or later, we'll be caught between the US and China. And it's between the rock and a hard place. If there's ASEAN, then we all have more room for maneuver.